There is an 80% decrease in the Earth's magnetic field over the last 4,000 years. Every 100 years, the Earth is losing 5% of its magnetic resonance. At the current rate, in approximately 800 years, the Earth may have a zero magnetic resonance. Welcome to It's Rainmaking Time. We have invited somebody who has the most current knowledge in modern history on this subject. The health information alone on magnetism will alter your life for many years to come. We want to welcome our devoted guest, a graduate of Loma Linda University in the area of dentistry. He has invented the Magnetico sleep pad. The design gives only a pure negative field, a departure from all other magnetic sleep pads in the world. He is a pioneer and has also designed a breakthrough in medicine and in science called the Magnetic Molecular Energizer. Please welcome from Alberta, Canada, Dr. Dean Bonlie to It's Rainmaking Time. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Most of the world has no idea that the magnetic field of the Earth is decreasing at a phenomenal rate and how this has an impact on health, on well-being, on how we feel psychologically, on obesity, and practically every known disease to humankind. I'd like you to discuss with us what is happening in the field of magnetics and what is it that we have to start paying attention to.
Well, NASA announced about 4 years ago, and that was to the world, that the Earth's magnetic field would degenerate down to zero within 800 years. Just a week or so ago, Time magazine came out with an article on the subject saying that that is accelerating. So we are losing our magnetic field here on Earth. And that's very important for us to realize, because if we lose our magnetic field, then it has dramatic impact on our health. Now, you say, well, how do you know that? Well, we did an experiment here. We reduced the Earth magnetic field down to 1/10 of what it is presently by using a certain kind of metal to deflect the Earth's magnetic field. And we put 6 mice in there. They were all the same age. And within a few minutes, they were in slow motion. And within 24 hours, one of them died. The rest of them compensated by eating huge amounts of food to derive energy from the food. They became terribly obese. You could almost roll them, but they never, ever sped up. They just moved at a snail's pace. You could roll them over and they could barely get up.
To be honest with you, Doctor, many of us think of magnetism as something having to do with charisma, personal presence, aside from being in the field of magnetics and science. And I understand that there's only 2 natural sources of electromagnetic energy available to the body, the Earth's magnetic field and the brain. But most of us have no frame of reference to contend with that has to do with electromagnetic energy. I think of it personally from the computer or from cell phones. What is electromagnetic energy, and why is that relevant to us in the context of magnetism?
The work that was done by Robert Becker, MD, in New York State University showed that frequencies interfere with the frequencies coming from the brain. And so frequency fields such as you have in your power lines and from computers and radio phones and things like that are putting out a frequency that is not natural to the body and interferes with the messages from the brain to the tissue. Also interferes with magnetic resonance. See, each tissue of the body has a specific frequency that which it resonates at, and this resonance is important because it's a very, very efficient use of the energy that the brain puts out. So when we talk about the energy the brain puts out, we're talking about vitality. The ancients called it chi. And so we need that to really have good health. And when you interfere with that by putting out the wrong frequency, then you're shortchanging your overall health. So this is what people are worried about, and it's this frequency that's interfering. And Robert Becker really started that whole research in that area.
But what is frequency? It sounds, for many of us, even who read about health and who are into health, it sounds like it's a word that's very out there and obtuse for most of us. It's obviously measurable, but what does it mean? What does it mean to me and you?
It means a variation in the electromagnetic field. like we're talking now, and that's making a frequency also, but that's a sound frequency. You can, when you have, like your power lines, they're reversing the direction of flow of the electrons 60 times a second, so we call that 60 hertz. So that puts out a positive, negative magnetic field, and it's that frequency then that interferes. When you are listening to radio, that's a wave, electromagnetic wave that's coming into your body and through your ears. Again, that has a frequency because as it varies, that sends a message which we're listening to. So we have many frequencies in our life, and some of them more natural than the other. And the more natural they are, of course, the better it is for the body.
But you're saying also that the earth and the brain are an electromagnetic field. Does that mean literally electricity, as in current? Is that what you're talking about?
Don't confuse electricity. See, whenever you have electricity flowing, you have always an accompanying magnetic field. And this is what's happening in your body. When the brain makes electricity for the body, then you have an accompanying magnetic field, and that's where we get these different messages that go out to the cells of the body telling them what to do. We also get magnetic resonance, which is an enhancement of the chemical reactions. So you have two things going on here with one generator, which is your brain, and the electrical system in your body. Now, conversely, when we're talking about the Earth magnetic field, that magnetic field is caused from the movement of the ionic lava. In other words, when it's superheated, it becomes all ions, and so that's like electrons flowing.
I need to take you back one moment, sir. Usually when you're in a field at your level, you speak in such a advanced way, it's like the air you breathe. But bring those of us who are not at your level into what is ionic. What does that mean?
It means one ion means like, I guess more like one atom. Mm-hmm. Okay? So it has one charge. An ion it can be a molecule with more than one atom, but it has just one charge, either positive or negative.
Okay. And why is the Earth's magnetic field decreasing?
Because as far as, and this is primarily my theory, we know it's decreasing, and there's been many theories put forward as to what is happening, but one thing we do know, that the Earth's crust is cooling, and as it cools, it congeals more lava under the crust of the Earth. Lava has a high content of iron, and iron is a good conductor of magnetism, much better than air. So we're undoubtedly conducting the magnetic field from inside of the Earth underneath the crust of the Earth rather than allowing it to come up through and making our magnetosphere, which protects us from radiation and from the sun.
So are we on a runaway train that's going to take us into an unlivable situation here on Earth, or is there any way to mitigate this?
Well, scientists are looking at this idea now. Maybe that's one of the reasons why we're so interested in other planets. But
just stay off of Mars. I don't know what the attraction to Mars is. It's a planet of aggression, everybody. We should maybe be on Chiron, the asteroid that has to do with other things. I want to let everybody know you are tuning into It's Rainmaking Time, and we are live. Hello, United States. Hello, England. And hello, Canada. If you would like to have our call-in number when we're live on the show, you can reach us at 1-877-625-3724. Once again, 1-877-625-3724. For those of you who want to call and be on the line when we open the line for questions for Dr. Bonlie. Dr. Bonlie, please continue.
Okay, maybe I wasn't exactly clear on how that happens, but if you have, we talk about a keeper on a magnet. Remember the old horseshoe magnet?
I do.
And if you put a piece of iron between the 2 points, well, then you reduce the magnetic field that's going out into the surrounding area because the magnetic field travels through the piece of iron rather than going through the air. And that's really what we're talking about here. If we have a layer of lava under the crust of the Earth that is thick and has a lot of iron in it, then you're keeping the magnetic field going from the South Pole to the North Pole under the crust of the Earth rather than coming out through the air and then returning back into the North Pole.
See, I thought I was worried about Yellowstone getting ready, the supervolcano that most of the world doesn't know about that's bubbling over there. But now I'm very nervous with the magnetic field decreasing before our very eyes. And even though I'm not going to live 800 years, as we speak about future generations, most of us live in the day-to-day of Earth time.